Hey there YouTube, it's me Tiff Wellness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this month's end of month bot haul. The bot haul for the 29th of February 2024. Yes, 29th of February, it's a leap year this year. I just thought I'd make a mention on that even though it doesn't actually mean anything. Yeah, it's that rarest of days that only happens once every 4 years. Yeah, so I've got the usual crop of Transformer related items on the table next to me, which I will get through in chronological order for you. And let's get cracking. Before I go any further, obviously lately I've been belly aching about the low viewing figures I've been getting on my videos, and I've been talking about quitting. I'm not going to do that anymore now going forwards. I'm just going to do my videos as normal. You'll know when the time comes for me to quit, because I'll put up a special video as my final video, and it's probably going to happen around May time if it happens at all. So it's coming, but I'm not going to whinge about it anymore. So let's just move on and get on with stuff, shall we? Also, I'm actually filming this video in two parts. I'm filming the first half on Tuesday the 27th, mainly because when my end of month bot haul falls on a weekday, it's difficult for me to do the whole video in time to get it out for midnight. It's very difficult and tricky. These are very long, complex videos, and this month I've trying something different. So I'm filming it in two parts. The first part I'm going to get through what I've got so far. I am expecting another package or maybe two packages to arrive before the end of the month in the next couple of days. Whether they do or not, don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But what I have got so far I will run through with you, and then when the final day of the month rolls round on the actual 29th, I'll sit down, I'll film the back end of the video, and then I'll do all the editing and uploading it onto YouTube and all that stuff. But anyway, so haul, that's what you're here for if you're one of the people viewing. So right, so let's get started, shall we? So, like I said, I do these in chronological order. So the first things to arrive on the 4th of Feb was a bunch of comics, because, like I said, I'm still collecting the Marvel G1 comics. I'm now working my way through the 200 series. So yeah, I went on to eBay and I ordered the usual bunch of Marvel G1 comics from Susanna Carter. So here they are. So I've got 252, then we've got 253, then 256, 258, 259, and 260 with that marvellous Jeff Senior cover on it. So I've got those. So that's some more comics for the 260 series, well, 250 series and 260 series there. So that's quite good. Then on the following day, on the 7th, I got some more comics. Now, I've been buying most of my comics from Susanna Carter, and now that I'm getting deep into the latter part of the 200 series and the 300 series, her comics are getting ridiculously expensive. Too expensive for me to bother buying them, because after all, they're just old bits of paper that are like 30 odd years old. It's like, what am I doing? Spending like 15-20 quid for a bit of paper that's like 30 years old. So I was searching around on eBay, and I found somebody else who was also selling the Transformers G1 comics, including the late issue ones. And I think he was a private individual, and he was obviously selling his original comics, and he had, I don't know whether he had the whole lot at one point, but he'd already sold a bunch of them, but he had some left over, and he was doing them for blanket costs, for I think it was like £4 each, and I thought, well, that's near enough. And when I did a combined order with him, he gave me a discount on the postage, which was nice. So yeah, I bought a second lot of comics. So these are from the 290 series, because up to this point I didn't have any comics from the 290 series. So I bought as many 290 series comics from him that I could. He didn't have a full set. He was missing a couple of issues, but I've got most of them. So we're starting off with 290. Then we got 291. and then 292, 293, 295, and 297. So I've made inroads for, you know, the 290 series. Now I've been looking into getting the 300 series, you know, up to the finish at, was it 332, which is the final issue. They get ridiculously expensive for the 300 series. I can get some of the 300 series off this bloke for, you know, a decent price of the early issues, but some of the later ones they just ramp up in cross, and he's asking like 95 quid for issue 332. You know, it's like, no, I'm thinking I don't really want to get the 300 series. I mean, I think I might stop at you know, 299. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, so I've got some more comics. That's the second lot of comics to arrive on the 7th. So yeah, so I got 12 comics this month instead of the usual 10. So that was quite good going. Right, also on the 7th. Now I'd looked on Hasbro Pulse and to see what they'd got on there, and I noticed they had a figure on there that I'd wanted to get last year, but he didn't really show up, or he was turning up, you know, slim in the UK market, because I think it was a convention exclusive or something like that. Anyway, I looked on Hasbro Pulse, and I noticed they had the thing in stock for like the regular sort of retail price, and I thought that's near enough, so I'll buy it. And this bot turned up a lot on people's, you know, top bots of last year. He figured quite heavily on the top bots of last year. Yeah, and so they had it in stock, so I ordered it, and it's this guy. Legacy Evolution Leader Class Nova Prime. So I decided to get this. Now, I've got two of the Ultra Magnus versions of this base mould, but I haven't got that Siege, you know, Galaxy Optimus Prime that's based on, you know, Cybertron Optimus Prime. I haven't got a version of that. But this is basically a white repaint of that, but they've moulded a few bits to make it into Nova Prime. Like they've given him the wings, and they've redone the chest and a few other bits and bobs. And it looks pretty good. And like I said, this guy featured quite heavily on a lot of people's top bot videos from last year. So I decided to get it. And yeah, he's all right. He's okay. I'm not totally blown away by this, to be honest. Obviously, it's got the parts forming nature with the trailer and all that stuff. When it's in truck mode, the back end doesn't seem to, like, when it plugs in, it doesn't quite plug in square. It's like angled up slightly, so the back wheels are like sticking up at a jaunty angle, so that when you stick it on a soft surface, the wheels roll quite easily. But then you stick it on a hard surface, and the wheels don't touch the ground, which is a bit, yeah, a bit of an own goal there. But apart from that, he does look really good. However, I didn't really need. I didn't need a Nova Prime because I've got this thing. Yes, the SND add-on for that Combiner Wars White Optimus Prime to turn it into Nova Prime. So I've got this as my sort of Nova Prime, and he's quite impressive. Though because it's a kit where you take it apart and add a load of extra bits, I screwed up the hip ratchets, so the hip ratchets don't work, so it doesn't stand up very well. But now I've got two Nova Primes, and it's interesting to put the two side by side. I mean, this one's like way more impressive and more imposing, especially with that wingspan that he's got. And this one's good enough, I think. He's good, but yeah. So did I really need to get this? I don't know. It's all right. It's okay, but yeah, he's pretty good. I don't regret buying him. I wanted to get him anyway, so managed to get it because Hasbro Pulse got it in stock, and yeah, so I got me a Legacy Evolution Leader Class Nova Prime. Then right, so moving on to the next day, it was the 8th of February, and Comics and Cocktails. Now, I got notification from Comics and Cocktails that a pre-order that I placed with them over 2 years ago was getting dispatched. So I thought, well, I know, I'm going to go into Comics and Cocktails and just have a browse anyway to see what else they've got. And I was browsing on there, and I was looking through the latest figures, and I noticed a couple of Studio Series core class figures that they got in stock, and I thought, well, yeah, that's near enough. I'll buy those. So I placed an order, and they arrived on the 8th. And the first one to arrive is this guy. It's obviously it's Bumblebee. No, it's not. No, Studio Series Last Night core class Mohawk. He has that one scene in the movie where he's with the Decepticons where they're attacking the Autobots, and then there's a big battle, and then most of them get slaughtered, including this guy. But he's pretty cool. He's like a robotic punk who turns into like a motorcycle. It looks like a Confederate motorcycle to me. I do have the Transcraft third party one, and I've also ordered the Doctor Wu like mini one as well, which hopefully will arrive before the end of the month. So that's one of the packages I'm hoping to come in before the end of the month. So hopefully it'll be tacked on the back of this video when I do the second part. But yeah, so I got him. He's pretty neat. Lot easier to transform than the Transcraft one. The Transcraft one is like fiddly as hell, and it's got parts forming. This one doesn't. This one hasn't got parts forming. It does it without parts forming, which is pretty good. He's a bit spindly, but still pretty cool. And he's got an opening mouth. That's pretty cool. I like the way they work that in. Decent little figure, really really good. I like it quite a lot. So yeah, Studio Series Core Class Mohawk, and the other figure that I got out of this little lot from Comics and Cocktails is this guy. Studio Series Bumblebee movie core class concept art Rumble blue. Yeah, so I saw this was out, and I like my Rumble, especially if he's blue. I like Rumble, and I thought I'd get this. I've got the Studio Series Soundwave somewhere. I got it dirt cheap a couple of years ago when I went into Entertainer. I had a money off voucher, and I got it for like 15 quid. But like I said, the alt mode's a load of garbage, but the robot mode's pretty good. It came with well, I've got the Studio Series Core Class Ravage to go with it, and now they're doing these guys. So yeah, decided to get him. He is tiny. He is absolutely teeny tiny, and he just turns into a box which fits in Soundwave's chest. I wish he had bicep swivels, because he kind of has. You could say that's an elbow, and then he's got that other arm there, but he doesn't have any bicep swivels, which really hurts him. He doesn't. I mean, he's got ball jointed ankles and things. The articulation on this guy isn't great. It could have been better. He looks really cool. He's basically got the built-in sort of pile driver type things. It's a neat little figure. It's very, very small though, and you just fold him up into a box for the transformation. So, yeah, he's all right. He's okay. I'd hoped for more, but he is what he is, and for what he does, I think this is good enough as you're gonna get, really. So yeah, I got that as well. So that was a little, Comics and Cocktails taster. I have got another Comics and Cocktails order that arrives slightly later in the month, which I'll get to in a bit. So look forward to that. Right, so next. Now, my Korean toys were a bit overdue this month, or they weren't because of the way the Wednesdays fell on this month due to my unboxing series, which I like to do on sort of 12:30 on a Wednesday. In fact, one of them I ran late because it arrived on the day itself, and I did a late sort of evening upload for that, which was unusual. But I wanted to buy something else to get in before my Korean figures arrived, because I knew that they wouldn't arrive in time for my unboxing series, so I wanted to fill out my unboxing roster. So I looked on Amazon and I saw something. That, again, a figure that I wanted to buy back in the last year, but I never actually saw it at retail. I knew it existed, and yeah, so I saw it and I thought, hell yeah, I'll get that. It's a shelf former extraordinaire. It's not made by Hasbro. It's made by Mattel. So that should give you a clue. It's got sounds. It's got lots of lots of noises, and it's really annoying when you're handling it and transforming it, because you keep hitting the sound buttons and it keeps making noises, and it's really annoying. it's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's so unusual and bizarre, I just had to get it because I've just got a soft spot for figures, transforming figures that are a little bit unusual or, do something different compared to the normal sort of transforming things that we get. So, from Mattel, Jurassic World, Fierce Changes, T-Rex. So yeah, I got this thing. Now it turns into one of the Jurassic Park Jeeps, and it's quite big, and he's got a little bit of articulation, and obviously he's got a button on the top which makes noises. And then the iconic T-Rex roar. And they're the noises it makes. You've got in the back, you've got another button which makes the car noises. Just makes a sort of load of rev noises. Okay, come on. Right, so yeah, it turns into a T-Rex. The T-Rex is okay, I suppose. It doesn't look too bad. You've got all the car kibble sort of stuffed between his legs, all the panels from the top of the car stuffed between his legs. That's a bit unfortunate. You've got these visible wheels sticking out on the top of his legs. He's very top heavy. So he's got a lot of weight in the front and hardly any weight in the back. And getting him to stand up is very, very difficult because of the joints in his legs. So yeah, he's kind of difficult to pose. Does have a little bit of articulation in dyno mode, but it's not what the toy actually does. It's just how unusual and bizarre it is. That's what persuaded me to get it. And yeah, it's got a lot of a lot of things that are a bit dodgy about it. It's especially the kibble in the dyno mode. I wish they could have dealt with the car kibble a bit better than that. But when you see how the transformation works, it's surprising that they managed it at all. They did a bunch of smaller sort of swapping sort of changey figures that they did, or fierce changer figures. But this is the ultimate one, and this figure normally retails for about 50-60 quid. But like I said, I was trying to see if I could buy it on my pre-Christmas toy hunt last year, but I never actually saw it in any of the shops I went into, like Smith's or Entertainer or anything. But I did look for it, but I didn't see it. And then on Amazon, they were doing it for they reduced it to like £21.99. So I got this massive great bot for less than the price of a bloody deluxe figure. So yeah. It's bizarre, it's weird, but I actually like it. I actually kind of like it. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't like it. I mean, the transformation's quite interesting the way it works. It's quite clever, considering this thing wasn't designed by Hasbro designers. It was designed by Mattel designers. So it was designed by somebody who's not used to doing Transformer toys. But it's kind of interesting. It's not great, it's not brilliant, but, I had to get it, so... Yeah, so it's got a sound box in it. It makes lots of noises, so it's all right. It's okay. As a bit of fun, it's okay. It's a fun figure to transform, and yeah, so I don't regret getting it, even though, like I said, it struggles to stand up in T-Rex mode, and yeah, so that is that. Right, so next. Right, that arrived on the 10th. Right, on the 12th. Right, so had a bunch of things arrived on the 12th, including my Korean figures. So starting off with Metal Cardbot Fleta Z. So yeah, I got him. He's the, what is he? Is he the 8th Metal Cardbot figure I've got? Or the 7th or 8th? Anyway, I'm losing count on these things, but I'm buying the whole basic toy line. There's 12 figures in total. There's still a bunch more to go. There's Wild Guardy, there's Black Hook, there's Buster Gallon, there's Thingy Crush, and the big truck former that's kind of like a Power Master Heavy Iron. So I've got all those to go yet. So these are going to keep me going for a couple of months. Yeah, he's all right. He turns into a jetliner, kind of like Tobot v Airhide. Only Tobot v Airhide is a far better figure than this guy. He's all right. He's okay. He's big. He's a lot bigger than the other metal Carbots. He's about the same size as Mega Trucker, who was the second bot that I got. Reasonably posable. I mean, he's got kind of got bicep swivels. He's got very, very deep, sort of elbow bends. But I mean, some of the stuff on this guy is weird. Some of the jointage he's got is weird, and his transformation in jet mode doesn't really hold together that well. It's a bit loosey goosey. But yeah, he's okay. He's all right. He's okay. One of the better metal Carbot figures I've got, and I've got a few of them now. And I will be getting the rest of the toy line. But yeah, so Metal Carbot Fleta Z. He's quite an interesting character in the show. I mean, I've got a playlist on my channel. If you go through my playlist, you'll see that I've got a playlist running of all the current episodes they've placed up. And they've also been doing like these live streams of the entire. They've been streaming the entire series in a live stream. All 26 episodes. And it's a fun show to watch, and I really like it. And I'm waiting for the obligatory English dub, which hopefully will come, because it's made by Sam G, and they did like the Mini Force and a few other things. Battle Watch Car as well, they did that. So those shows got English dubs, so hopefully Metal Carbot will as well in due time. And also the show's been picked up for a second and third season, as I understand. It's done really, really well. It's the toys have sold really well. The show's done really well in its home territory of South Korea. And as I'm aware that there is a second series on the way, though, as and when it'll turn up, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do with the second series, because they sort of wound the first series up quite well. And but it'd be interesting to see what happens with the season 2, and I'm hoping we get some fembots into the line, because it'd be nice if you got some female bots, because all the metal Carbots are boys, so it'd be nice if you got some fembots. But yeah, so yeah, I got him. He's pretty cool. And then the other figure that arrived. Now, I've done the review on it. Again, my Korean boys reviews didn't do so great this month, but then again, I guess it's just c'est la vie, innit? So this figure is a figure that I didn't want to buy, but there was a particular YouTuber or viewer of my videos who commented on a bunch of my videos prompting me to get it, and he did it a number of times, probably way too much, way more than he ought to have done, really. I mean, I think it was like 5 times in total he was persisting that I got this thing. Now, I didn't want to get it because it's what I refer to as a copolymer combiner, and a copolymer combiner is a combiner that forms together out of vehicles that form limbs for the robot, and they don't have robot modes of their own, if that makes a sense. Kind of like power core combiners, that sort of thing. I'm not a fan of that style of combiner. I prefer my combiners to have the individual limb bots to have robot modes of their own. Technically, they do have them in the show, but because of the way this toy is engineered, it doesn't have them. But I saw some reviews on it on the usual sort of Korean channels, and I quite like the look of it. And it's got a decent amount of jointage for a Korean figure, especially a combiner. So it's reasonably posable, and I decided to get it. And actually, it's rather good. So, Tobot 2023, Tobot Tritan. So they've redone Tritan. I haven't got the original Tritan because, again, he's a copolymer and I'm not interested in that. But they redid it for the new Tobot 2023 season. The trailer for Tobot I suppose Tobot 2024 or Season 2 of Tobot 2023 has just aired. And there's some new figures in that, including that Tobot A, which I think transforms into Hyundai Ioniq 6. Looks really good. And there's a combiner in that which is like a red and a blue car, which sort of merge together to form a Gestalt, and it kind of reminds me of Cross Attacker from Biclons, and it's like, I'm liking what I see so far from the figures that they've got going, coming in the new series or the new season, which will probably come out later this year. But anyway, this guy, Tobot 2020, Tobot 2023, Tobot Titan, or Tritan. He's very good. He's very, very good. Nice, snappy transformation, decently posable. He's got bicep swivels, thigh swivels. Hasn't got a waist joint. Little bit of head motion. But yeah, he's decently posable. He's pretty fun to transform, actually. He's really, really good to transform. I quite like him. He does have some limitations, obviously, because of the way the mold works. Like, because of this thing here. When you bring his leg up, it this thing these kneecaps kind of get in the way. But apart from that, it's a really, really solid figure, and the transformation where you separate the vehicles and form them into their vehicle modes is pretty good. I mean, like I said, Tobot Y forms the arms, but he splits with a bar across the top, and that's pretty cool the way that works. And yeah, it's really, really cool. It's officially licensed alt modes as well, even though they're not properly proportioned or scaled, which is what I would have preferred. But yeah, it's still a really, really good, chunky, colourful figure, and I really like it, and I don't regret buying it, even though I bought it myself. I didn't buy it because of somebody recommended I got it. So basically, that's this guy. He's pretty cool, and yeah, he's a really, really good figure. Right, so the 12th. We're still on the 12th. Now, talking of comics and cocktails, I placed a pre-order with Comics and Cocktails in January 2022 for a Super 7 Ultimates figure. Now, basically, if you know Super 7, they basically make action figure versions of characters from all sorts of different franchises, and they're doing a bunch of Transformers characters. They're officially licensed, and they announced the I think it was it Wave 4 or Wave 3 of the Ultimates. I think it was Wave 3 of the Ultimates, and they announced Tarn. Yeah, so DJD Tarn, and he comes with a little minifigure of Nickle. Now, when I saw that, I thought, hell yes, I have got to get that. I want that Nickle so bad. Anyway, pre-ordered it in January of 2022. 2022 came and went. 2023 came and went. We're now into February of 2024, and I started seeing online that this thing was finally getting shipped, and people were picking it up and doing reviews on it. And then I get the notification from Comics and Cocktails that my order's been shipped, and it arrived on the 12th. So yeah. So here's the Tarn. Now, it doesn't transform. It's an action figure. And even though it's Tarn, and I really do like Tarn, I'm a big fan of the DJD from the IDW, More Than Meets the Eye comic. And but this thing has got a lot of issues. The packaging's really cool that it comes with, but it didn't come with any instructions. It didn't come with that safety leaflet that you get with like Hasbro stuff that tells you not to swallow your toys. It didn't come with that, and there was no instructions because okay, this is an action figure; it doesn't transform, but it's still you'd expect it to come with a sheet with listing all the components that come in the box and showing you how to apply because there's a lot of sort of like replacement parts you get for this guy. Like you can get a bunch of different hands for him. You can get a couple of different heads because he's got a head that's got the mask on. He's got a head that with a separate mask and the face, and obviously he's got a lot of accessories that he comes with. So you'd expect some instructions with that. No instructions, no paperwork, nothing. So I was a bit disappointed in that. Then there's the plastic. Now, can you hear it? I think it's made out of vinyl, or there's parts of it that are made out of vinyl, and vinyl's a bit sort of soft and squeaky. And yeah, it's like yeah. So yeah, you got that. This arm's not great either, but that's the elbow. Is awkward to draw. I mean, you just saw his fusion cannon just fell off because that doesn't plug on particularly well. His waist, I mean, he's got this very soft waist, but his legs hardly move. He does have a good sort of knee bend. No ankle tilts either. I thought this thing was supposed to be an action figure. Then why hasn't it got decent hip joints? Why hasn't it got... And it has got a waist joint, and it's kind of got a bit of a ab crunch, arch, going on. So it's got that. But on the whole, I'm very disappointed by this thing. And the worst thing is the colours. Look at all this light blue that it's got going on. I mean, what's that all about? I mean, Tarn should be like this. He should be like that. He should be like gunmetal and purple. And yet this guy, they've replaced the gunmetal with this light blue. I mean, they've done some dry brushing on it to make it look kind of interesting, but it doesn't look right. I mean, when I saw the pre-production pictures showed it in more like proper Tarn colours, and then when it arrives, you actually see the production pictures. It's like, what's with all the blue paint? It's like, why has it got all that blue paint on it? Anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with this thing in total. I mean, he's a big figure though. He's big, and I've got the MMC one up there, but I don't want to get it down because it's sort of behind some other figures. Yeah, he's a big figure. I just wish it was a bit more poseable. I wish it was painted the right colour. I wish the tolerances on it were, and it made out some better quality plastic, and the tolerances were a bit better on it. Would have been nice if it came with some instructions. But yeah, so yeah, very disappointed with this figure on the whole. But then that isn't the main reason why I bought it. The main reason I bought it was for Nickle. So yeah, it comes with Nickle. Now, technically she's an accessory. She's not a separate bot. She's very, very limited in what she can do. She's got an arm that's got a little bit of motion. She has got sort of fist rotation. She's got no elbow joints. She's got a head that's sort of on a ball joint. It can move a bit. Got a waist joint and a little bit of tilt on the waist. And that's it. It's got nothing on the feet or the legs at all. She's very top heavy, and she doesn't stand up very well because if you look underneath, look at her feet. Now, Nickle in the IDW comics, in her robot mode, her feet are made out of tyres, wheels that are sort of squashed down to form, sort of rubber pads, and that's her feet. So they've emulated that with this, but it just will not stand up. When you put the backpack on, which is a separate piece, she's so back heavy she just falls over backwards. And if you take the backpack off, she falls over forwards because of all the top. She's so top heavy. Now, she won't stand up properly, so I've had to invest in some figure stands because she's got the little plugs on the bottom, so you can plug in a figure stand, and then she will stand up. Now, I think that's a bit ridiculous. I've actually had to go out or go online and buy an accessory to make her stand up. That's a bit ridiculous. But it's Nickle. I can't hate on her. It's Nickle. It looks really good. And I think this figure, as it's an accessory rather than an action figure, it's designed to sort of stand there and look good next to the Tarn figure, which it does. So I don't hate on it for that. But the Tarn figure itself, I mean, this thing is so disappointing in so many ways. Now, spoilers, this isn't the worst thing that I got this month, but it definitely qualifies for a dishonourable mention. I just want to put that in there because it's so disappointing in so many ways. It qualifies for a dishonourable mention, but it's not the worst thing I got this month. So that is that. Right, so moving along, next thing to arrive, which was on the 13th, the day after. Now, this is something I pre-ordered last month off Amazon, and obviously the Legacy Legacy United figures are now starting to filter out into retail. And I noticed on Amazon last month, well, it was back end of last year, it was December. I went onto Amazon and I noticed they'd got pre-orders up for the Wave 1 Legacy United Deluxes, including Windblade and Chase. And they were doing them for £15.61 instead of the usual £24.99. So I thought, hell yeah, I'll order those. And it said that they were going to get released on the 1st of January. They didn't. I got a notification on the 1st of January saying, oh yeah, your figures are going to be delayed. You're not going to get some of them till like sort of late February, early March. I think one of them said it was like late March, early February, early April. Or it gave me some really delayed, short shipping estimates. Anyway, the Windblade did arrive last month, so I got that. But I was still outstanding on the Chase figure. So this month, got the notification saying your order has shipped. And it arrived on the 13th. There we go. Legacy United Rescue Bots Universe Deluxe Chase. Now, I'm a bit of a fan of the original Rescue Bots show. I couldn't give a monkeys about Rescue Bots Academy because they dumbed it down way too much. But the original Rescue Bots show, I'm a huge fan of it. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's in my top 5, if not my top 3 all-time favourite Transformers cartoon series. It is amazing. Yes, it's got the flash animation. Yes, it's been dumbed down for kids. Yes, there's no Decepticons in it per se. There's a few fleeting mentions to them, but they're not. There's no actual Decepticons in it. There's a mini-con that appears in one episode from as like an RID crossover. But yeah, it's very limited in those respects. But it's a great show. Give it a chance. You'll get into it after a while, I guarantee it. And it's really, really good. And the core characters, Blades, Chase, Boulder, and Heatwave, really, really good characters. And they all have their partner human characters. Like Chase, he was partnered up with Chief Burns, who was the father of the Burns family. And I wish it had come with a little minifigure of Chief Burns to go with it. It would have really made this figure. But I'm glad, I'm thrilled to get a Generations Rescue Bot or Rescue Bot in the Generations toy line. And yes, I know people have been complaining about this figure, about some of the way it's engineered. Like, for instance, I mean, you've got these bits here on the back, which when you're using the arms, they sort of clout into them. So that's a bit unfortunate. Big chunk of transparent plastic for his chest. Yeah, we all know how some people feel about that. But on the whole, I don't think it's that bad. It's got quite an interesting transformation. Nice solid figure. It's got no looseness on it. Decently posable. Alt mode looks pretty cool, apart from a bit of gappage at the back. But apart from that, I'm quite pleased with it. It's really, really good. Like I said, if it had come with a little minifigure of Chief Burns, and please, third party, come on, Dr. Wu or somebody, make it happen. Do some like minifigures of the Rescue Bots, human characters to go with these figures. Please, just do it. I want you to do them. Especially like I want a Chief Burns to go with this. But no, he's pretty good actually. He comes with his Cybertron weapon thing, claw, handcuff type weapon. He comes with that. He's all right. I actually like him a lot. I like him a lot. It's got a few issues, but I can see past that because of my nostalgia or my my fandom for the Rescue Bots TV show. And yeah, this character is really, really good. I really don't regret buying it. He's a really neat little figure. I like it a lot. So yeah, he arrived on the 13th. Then back onto Amazon a few days later. Again, I was scrolling through Amazon looking at things and I saw something. I thought, yeah, I've got to get that. Character mold set collecting. Yeah, I like to indulge in what I refer to as character mold set collecting, where I pick a character and then I buy all the molds for it. I have a bunch of rules for this, a lot of rules, maybe too many rules for how I do it. But basically, it's got to transform. It's got to be, either a third party or an official figure. And yeah, and the repaint, if it's repainted from a different mold, then that counts. Or if that character's mold gets repainted as a different character, it doesn't count. Blah blah blah, and all these. I've got a bunch of rules for it. But anyway, one of the characters I like to collect the moulds for is Skullcruncher. Now, Skullcruncher is in Earthspark, and they've finally done a figure of him. There he is. So it's a Transformers Earthspark flip and change Skullcruncher, because he's a So there he goes into his alt mode. Oh, this thing is so ridiculous. So yeah, so to transform him back, dead easy. You just go like that. It's like them Switchblade one-step changes that they did for the the movies, like The Last Night and that with Bumblebee and a lot of others. Yeah, so it's got that flappy chest piece. Also, it's got this trigger. It's automorph this thing as well. So if you drop him onto his back, he automorphs into his alt mode. He's got like a little. He's spring loading with a little trigger that. So it goes. It goes like that, and do it again. There he goes. It automorphs. So yeah, it's a gimmick toy. I mean, you look at the croc mode. He's got some sort of semblance of moulded legs down the side. He's actually got a tail piece that comes out. He has got a croc head, but you can't open it, which is a shame. And the way they've done the scales on the back of this hollowed sort of chest piece that flips round, again, doesn't look great. Doesn't look very convincing in its crocodile mode. Now, the thing with character mould set collecting is sometimes you have to buy dross like this. Yeah. You're collecting all the moulds for the characters, and every now and again they'll bring out a figure that's a piece of crap like this. It's a one-step flip-changing gimmick toy that's loosely based on the character that I like to collect. So that's the reason why I got him. I wouldn't have bought him any otherwise, but because it's Skullcruncher, I had to get him. And as you can see, yeah, it's not meant for the likes of me. Let's put it that way. I am hoping that Season 2 of Earthspark, which is definitely coming, because I think they've announced some new figures or something that's coming out for it. Well, yeah, they've got them new swap and change figures. So it's rolling on, but there's been no solid evidence of Season 2 appearing, but it's on its way. I'm hoping that down the line we're going to get a proper figure of Skullcruncher. He is in Season 1, though he's very limited in Season 1, but he is in it. Hopefully he'll come more in Season 2. But I'd like them to do a proper Skullcruncher, like a Deluxe or even a Voyager or something. Do a decent Skullcruncher, or do Skullcruncher more justice than this thing anyway. I would like to see that in Season 2 of Earthspark. So yeah, I got that. And then the last bot I'm going to do in this segment of the video, because obviously this is the front half of the video. The back half I'm going to film in a couple of days. So this is the last one. Right. A new figure that's come out for the Chinese New Year, because Transformers over the past couple of years, they've done those premium sort of like Lunar New Year sort of exclusives for various characters for the different Lunar New Years that have gone past in recent years. They haven't done it for a couple of years, but this year, as it's the year of the dragon, they decided to do one, and they've taken a mould from the Last Night Premium Deluxe of was it Steelbane or Skeletron. They've reworked it, heavily reworked it, and ended up with this. Right, Transformers 2024 Lunar New Year of the Dragon Deluxe Crimson Flame. Now, it's like I said, it's a heavy retool of the Steelbane mould or the Skeletron mould. I've got Skeletron, I haven't got Steelbane. At least I don't think I've got Steelbane. I know I've got Skeletron, because I gave Steelbane a miss because I wanted to get Skeletron because he's got all that coppery sort of corrosion sort of deco on him. He looks pretty cool with that. But this turns into an Oriental dragon. Doesn't have any wings because Oriental dragons don't have wings. They just fly. Yeah, it comes with quite a few accessories, including a display stand, which you can display him in. You can definitely display him in Dragon mode. I think you can display it in Robot mode. Anyway, interesting rework of the mould. Lovely, lovely paint job. Great remould. Orange. I'm all over the colour of orange. I like Dragon formers. So, yeah, it's a really, really neat figure. Pretty cool. It's got some transparent parts, and obviously it's still got some of the limitations of the original mould as well, even though they have tightened up the tolerance on it, so it does hold together a lot better. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really regret getting it. I don't regret getting it. Got it off AliExpress, but I bought it before the Chinese New Year, so it took a while to get shipped. And this is the problem in early February, because I like to place my orders at the beginning of the month. And if you order stuff from the Far East, especially China and South Korea as well. South Korea, they also celebrate the Lunar New Year celebrations. They have like a public holiday for it. Not quite as extreme as the Chinese do, but they have a public holiday where they do stuff, celebrate the Lunar New Year, and it causes, shipping services to grind to a halt for a few days. And the Chinese, it's like, well, sometimes it can, your parcel, if you've ordered something before the Chinese New Year, you can expect it to get delayed for at least a fortnight, as is the case with this other big third-party figure that I've bought off TF Direct again, which probably won't arrive before the end of the month. I hope it will, because it's a shoe-in for the top bot of the month, but it'll probably arrive beginning of next month. At least it'll be the first unboxing for next month if that happens. But anyway, so I got this guy. He's okay. He's pretty cool. I like the colours. I like the redesign that they've done on it. Kind of expensive. I mean, I paid 30 odd quid for this thing. Well, was it nearly 40 quid I paid for it? But I had to buy it from AliExpress and I had to get paid to get it shipped. And I got it from Toys R Us China. It's like Toys R Us are still going in China. Oh well. There you go. Got him, yes. So that's 2024 Year of the Dragon Deluxe Crimson Flame. He's pretty cool, actually. He's all right. Right. So moving on to the next thing. Obviously now is coming the second section of the video. So if you just give me a moment, and we're back. Yeah. So I'm filming this now on the 29th of February. So on the leap year day itself. So obviously I did the front end of the video a few days ago, and now my last package has arrived. Unfortunately, the big impressive third-party figure that I ordered this month has not arrived in time to get in at the end of the month. It'll probably arrive in the next couple of days. I think it's landed in the UK, but it'll be a few days before it gets through customs and that and turns up. But it's a guaranteed top bot for next month. Guaranteed. The alt mode alone is top bot material, just the alt mode, and it's and the robot mode looks amazing as well, so it's a win-win all round. But anyway, so the final thing to arrive, which arrived on the 28th of February, a couple of days ago, in fact yesterday actually, now I'm filming this section on the 29th, is this guy. Doctor Wu movie collector MCO1 Mozart. So I've got another Mohawk. So this is the Doctor Wu one. I've got him in bike mode, and as you can see, this thing is absolutely tiny, but it's a really cool little bike, And again, unlike the Transcraft one, which I've got, which transforms with parts forming, this one doesn't, which is quite good. I mean, obviously I got the the official Studio Series Mohawk earlier in the month, but I decided I want to get this one as well. It was a late sort of purchase on AliExpress after the Chinese New Year, but it arrived before the end of the month, so that's good. I've got quite a few Doctor Wu figures, and I really like what they do. I mean, obviously I got Doctor Wu Ultra Magnus last year, which was one of my sort of top bots of the year. But this thing's really neat. It's pretty good. Obviously it's got, I wish it had been a bit more silver. It's mostly come out in grey. It might look silvery in this light, but it's actually more of a grey plastic than a silver. But the transformation's pretty neat, and it's a nice little figure. And I really glad to get this, and there's more from this Doctor Who movie collector series that I'd like to get. I mean, I'd like to get their wheelie. I'd like to get the wheelie that they're doing as well, but they're doing a number of different repaints for it because he turns into like a radio controlled truck and monster truck, and I've got radio controlled monster trucks in my RC car collection that look very similar. So yeah, so that's a good reason to get that. So yeah, that's the last thing to arrive this month. Doctor Who movie collector, MCO1 Mozart. And that's that. That's my haul for this month. It's a pity that this big third party thing that I've ordered hasn't arrived. But like I said, it's due. It should get it in the next couple of days, and it's a shoe-in. But it should form the basis of my first unboxing video for next month. So look out for that. But I think it's a decent haul. I did quite well on the comics at the beginning of the month, and got a good spread of stuff in the meantime. So now we're on to that thing I do at the end of every haul, the first and worst. So where I pick the best thing and the worst thing that I got throughout the course of the month. Now this month, again, it's the first bot was kind of tricky. I was sort of torn between sort of two figures, and the first bot is a figure that I kind of liked, And in the early part of this video where I did my section on it, I said, it was pretty good, but it had an issue with the alt mode, the way the alt mode transformed, that I wasn't happy about. But in doing this video, doing the thumbnail picture for doing the pictures for the thumbnail, I had to transform them back into alt mode, and I transformed it again, and I figured out what I was doing wrong in the transformation, and now it transforms properly into its alt mode. And it's gone up in my estimations quite a lot. So I now think it qualifies for top bot of the month. And I've also got, like I said early in the video, I've got a dishonourable mention this month that I want to put out there. But anyway, let's do the first and worst. Right. First and worst. So, yeah, like I said, you see, I've got him in alt mode, and the wheels are now nice and flat, whereas before they were sort of sticking up at an angle. But it was because these blue pieces that plug in at the back, they weren't plugged in properly, and it was like that. And I thought, no, there's no way I couldn't get it to work. But then come on, get in there. Anyway, it wasn't plugged in properly, basically. So now that I've figured that out, I like this thing a lot better. It was still a toss-up between this and Tobot Tritan for the top bot of this month, given what I'd arrived. But I think I like this thing a bit better now that I know that I wasn't transforming it correctly, and I'm much happier with the alt mode. This guy, I mean, it's a gimmick figure, isn't it? I mean, come on, it's a gimmick figure, and yeah, I know it's Skullcruncher, and I like to character mod set collect Skullcruncher, but nah, this thing is absolute junk. It's absolute garbage. And then dishonourable mention, Super 7 Ultimates Tarn. Yeah, I'm so disappointed in this thing in so many ways. The gun doesn't stay on very well. It's got loose joints. Barely any posability at the hips. No ankle tilt. It's an action figure. It's supposed to have joints, but it doesn't really. I mean, the arms are floppy. It's painted in the wrong colours. It's made out of a really sort of horrible, sort of soft, squeaky plastic. So many reasons why it's disappointing. It's a disappointment to me, and the fact that I had to wait 2 bloody years for the pre-order to come in. So all those factors, factor into me giving this a dishonourable mention. This is the worst thing by far, but this guy, a dishonourable mention for him because of those reasons. I can't hate on him because it's Tarn, but they could have done Tarn better, I think, on this figure. So there we go. That's my end of month bot haul. My webcam starting to fog up because obviously this room's cold and I get condensation on it. So let's wind this video up. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul. As per usual, you'll get the gallery at the end of this video to show all the items I got. So without that said, I've been TFL Wilderness. This is my haul for February of 2024, leap year day. I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.